I am back. I am previewing the second song you're going to listen to. It's called Where Does Assessment Belong? And a couple of points that I want to highlight about this uh, section, the second section that I wasn't able to get in the song, were just a few examples of what a diagnostic, formative, and summative assessment might look like from beginning to end. So, something that my cooperating teacher last year did on a unit about the New World and Europeans settling there was he had a diagnostic pre-assessment about why he asked students to raise their hand. Why do you think Europeans came to the New World? And a lot of them said religious freedom. And so that he was able to take that information as just as a pre-assessment. Most people think religious freedom was the number one reason why Europeans came here. Then, as students read primary sources and had class discussions during instruction as he was lecturing students, he used formative assessments. So he would ask that question again, and this time he would challenge students. He would try and further their learning by saying, well, what about the economic reasons that Europeans came to the New World? So that would be an example of a formative assessment because students are maybe working on a DBQ worksheet and he offers feedback on it without grading them necessarily. It's more trying to further their learning. And then a summative assessment on that same lesson or unit would be like having students write a paper uh, or taking a test or engaging in a graded, very structured kind of classroom discussion or debate about why Europeans came to the New World. I also wanted to highlight that I think end of unit kind of summative assessments, while they're important for grading, are maybe less important than formative assessments. Certainly, in terms of furthering student instruction or furthering student learning, because formative assessments really prepare students for the summative assessment. If they're getting the material throughout, during instruction, chances are they're going to do fine on the test at the end. Um, by the same token, if they're struggling and the formative assessment feedback that they're getting isn't helping them, chances are they're going to struggle on that end of unit assessment. And the teacher needs to reflect on how can I further student learning during instruction to prepare them for the end. I also wanted to highlight that students should be included in classroom conversations about assessment from the very beginning of the year until the last assessment is completed. Of course, teachers are going to have an idea of how students are going to be graded, but teachers should help students develop a sense of ownership over their assessments and guide them toward listening to their feedback on assessments so that they can learn from it throughout the learning cycle. Lastly, I just wanted to highlight that I think the best assessments happen, of course, during the learning cycle, but they have an impact on students even after they take the assessment. I remember when I took, wrote a paper, I got handwritten feedback on it in high school. That meant a lot to me, and I held on to that. So, personalized one-on-one feedback, whether it be through kind of personal communication, like conferences or journals, or through written descriptive feedback, can be really meaningful to students even after the assessment is over.